Hey kids, welcome to Mama Key's Kitchen. Today we're gonna make lasagna. Now, there's probably a million recipes out there for lasagna, and I have the recipe too. You can always tell a good recipe when it's got tons and tons of stuff dripped all over it. So we've got a great recipe for lasagna, but today what I'm gonna do is just modify this recipe a little bit, because what I wanna show you is cooking doesn't have to be hard. Use leftover stuff that you have in your kitchen, because today I'm not gonna make it exactly like the recipe, because I got some stuff I wanna use up. So, let me show you how. First thing we're gonna do is chop up some stuff. So, as any person knows, the best way to chop up garlic is to take fresh garlic, peel everything off of it, and then you gotta just give it a good smash. Smash it up, and then just chop it. When you're chopping, you always wanna use your hands like this so you don't chop your fingers, but just hold your little clove of garlic there to get it all good and chopped up, and then we're gonna add it over to what I got cooking on the stove. So over on the stove, what I have working right now is a little bit of sausage. I've got sausage in here, and now I've just added the garlic to it. So we're gonna let that just sort of continue kind of browning just a little bit. And when that's done browning, or while it's browning, I'm going to add a little bit of oregano. So the great thing I have going on right now is oregano from my sister's garden. So visited her not too long ago and got fresh oregano from her garden. So I'm gonna add some of that to it as well. So again, looking for ways to use my oregano because I've got tons and tons of it from her garden, and making lasagna is a good way to do that. Now normally in this recipe, one of the next things that I would do here is I would add some tomatoes, which I do have a can of tomatoes to add, but usually I'd add more than just this one can. I do probably 2 cans of tomatoes in it. What I'm going to do instead today is this, plus I've got just from something else I did. I have tons and tons of leftover pizza sauce, and I still have 3 more jars in there, so I don't know when I will ever use this much. And so on its own, it might be a little too pizza-y, but I think this built into a lasagna would be just fine. So I'm going to use up some pizza sauce. It's that simple. If you have, I'm kind of a semi-homemade person sometimes. So if you have, some extra of your favorite kind of spaghetti sauce, that works just fine. Don't stress yourself out when you're cooking in the kitchen. Just use things that are similar, and you'd be surprised the kinds of things you can create. So we've got this working. Garlic added in there. I'm gonna add in my tomatoes and add in my my pizza sauce. All right, I've got my tomato sauce in. I've got my pizza sauce in. My meat sauce is ready to go. I've got my noodles down in my water. Cannot stress this enough. You definitely want to keep your noodles al dente. And then the only other thing you really need is mozzarella cheese, cottage cheese, and maybe a little Parmesan cheese. And we'll get to layering that here in just a second. So now that our noodles are al dente, we're going to take those off and start layering. Start with your layer of meat sauce. Then you're going to add your noodles, which hopefully came out perfectly al dente. Going to throw some mozzarella cheese on there, as well as some cottage cheese. And normally I would use ricotta cheese, but I don't have any. So again, this is like close enough lasagna today. And then normally I would do a layer of Parmesan cheese, but if you don't have Parmesan cheese, it's not the end of the world. So I'm gonna add that and then start back over with a meat layer. So once you have that kind of spread out, you throw the meat layer on again, and then we're gonna do noodles, and we're gonna start all over. Oh, this is going to be really good. I can tell already. You can smell the garlic. It smells so delicious. It's amazing. All right, got a meat layer going on in there, and now I'm going to go again with my noodles. Add the noodle layer in. Since this noodle's broken, I'm going to use that as my end noodle. Perfect. And then take my perfect noodles for the rest of it. 2, 3, And then start back over with another layer of mozzarella cheese and all my cheeses. And just keep layering until you end up topping it off at the top with your meat layer. But now you can't leave the top as a meat layer. Definitely have to throw some cheese on the top of that. Meat layer, followed by a noodle layer, followed by a cheese layer. And your cheese layer should probably be mozzarella, ricotta, and Parmesan. Or like today, I use mozzarella, cottage cheese, and no Parmesan because I didn't have any Parmesan. So you just keep layering in that order until you get it in this state right here. And then what we're gonna do is pop this in the oven. So we're gonna cook it in the oven at 350 for about 30 minutes. So my lasagna's been in the oven for 30 minutes and I'm ready to go get it out of there. I guarantee you it looks amazing. Oh, so perfect. The cheese is melted exactly how I would want it to be melted, and it looks amazing. Don't be afraid to just use some things in your kitchen, even if you don't have exactly what the recipe calls for. And there you have it, close enough lasagna, close enough to the recipe, using up those things in your pantry and your refrigerator that you don't need anymore. Bon appetit.